The election of Zoran Mamdani as New York City's next mayor is raising some concerns that wealthy New Yorkers will leave the city. Joining us now is Don Peebles, the Peebles Corporation CEO and chairman. Don, it's been a while.
How
are you doing?
Joe, how are you?
I'm good. The gray hair is not just from Mamdani, I don't think, is it? In the drift of the Democratic Party that was there. That's been coming in for a while.
That's been coming in for a while. It's been a gradual process, as you know, since really 2008, right?
As you know, I do know. So, John, the first thing we saw was he's already been named Realtor of the Year in Miami Beach. Is that true, Mamdani?
Absolutely, and more awards to come because there's more of a migration coming down to South Florida. In fact, I'm in Miami right now, and I got some numbers on Friday, and we're seeing these trends now. The volume of interest is picking up rapidly for condos and single-family homes in Miami and Palm Beach and Broward County. And I expect to see more on the West Coast. I'm going there to look at a couple of projects out on the West Coast of Florida as well. So there's going to be a great migration coming down to South Florida and to Texas. I think Dallas is poised to pick up a lot more business. J.P. Morgan, Goldman, Fortress, Guggenheim, and other investment firms have moved major operations to Texas, to Dallas.
Don, I think I saw you on another network that shall not be named here, but I was a little bit surprised, and it almost looked like some of your views had shifted in light of some of the recent drift of your party, of the Democratic Party. You were one of President Obama's big supporters, and you even say that's when it started moving left, and now it's kind of just out of control?
Yeah, I think that Obama was a shift from Bill Clinton was a moderate Democrat, and today he would be a Republican. And Obama was a shift from him to a much more moderate, from a moderate Republican into more of a left-leaning Democrat. And that's when it started. And interestingly enough, by the way, the reason I think that Mamdani was so successful politically is he had the same head of ground operations that we had with Obama, Patrick Gaspar. So Patrick ran President Obama's campaign on the ground game, and they had record turnouts, especially for minority voters in urban centers. And if you look at what happened with Mamdani, it was the turnout that brought him to the promised land in terms of his victory.
So, what are you a man without a country now, Don? Where do you land at this point?
Well, you know, there's a growing number of us. I think that, look, I think that the Republican Party in many ways espouses a pro-business environment, one that resonates to entrepreneurs like myself. And then I think the Democratic Party is a party of inclusion, but I think they've lost their way now. And it's been hijacked. And I've talked about this a bunch of times, that the far left has hijacked the Democratic Party. And so many of us now feel like, hey, we're Democrats, but we're old-time Democrats. And the Democratic Party of today is leaning more towards socialism. And clearly, I'm a capitalist, and our democracy is based on capitalism. So I think that the Democratic Party is in danger of becoming a long-term kind of protest minority party. And when I mean minority, I mean just a shrinking number of voters.
But Don, if you think about, look, there's Mamdani on one side of it. I get that. But then you got, Gavin Newsom on the other.
Oh, God. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't laugh. I'm sorry. I'm saying of the people.
Does he represent someone moderate? Gavin Newsom?
I mean, the truth is, I would think on a relative basis to Mamdani, you would say he's a capitalist.
On a relative basis.
Okay. Look at all the big tech companies that have been developed in California.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at
Don.
Gavin Newsom.
Well, I think what happened is after Mike Bloomberg, and Mike Bloomberg was much more of a moderate, stabilizing influence for New York. After he left and Bill de Blasio came in, it just disrupted the economic system in New York and made it more painful for those who are at the bottom end of the economic system and those who are at the middle of it struggling. And those voters did not vote for Eric Adams. They voted for Maya Wiley. And now they had a chance and they were more mobilized and they voted for Mamdani. And it's not him. It's the idea that this is not working in New York and the same old politics of the past aren't working. Ultimately, by the way, I think that this is going to affect New York State, too. I think that Kathy Hochul's in a world of trouble because I think that the rest of the state is saying, what the heck is going on in New York City? And I think you're going to see a shift there. I think she's going to have a tough battle to get reelected.
Oh, hold on, you think the state turns towards Mamdani, or you think the state turns towards her? Because she's already out saying in the past 48 hours, you know, we're not doing free buses necessarily. Maybe we'll do some kind of program for people, low-income people who need help to get on the bus, but we're not doing some of these things.
Well, she's the epitome of a politician who speaks out of both sides of their mouth. So she's out there in Puerto Rico saying how Mamdani ran the most transformative campaign and then is now trying to walk it back a little bit. The end of the day is it'll go, I think a Republican candidate that's moderate will have a tremendous opportunity to unseat her if she is the Democratic nominee. I'm not sure she gets to be the Democratic nominee.
Don, is Gavin Newsom, I mean, just back to that, is he the kind of person that should be talked about as the leader of the Democratic Party? What does he have to run on in California?
Is it him? Is it Schumer?
No, it's Shapiro. I mean, can I put in Shapiro's name? Someone like that, maybe. I can't imagine the country would embrace Gavin Newsom.
No, look, I think Gavin Newsom's moment to become president passed. I think he should have run against Biden for the Democratic nomination. And in fact, I encouraged him to do it, and he didn't want to do it. And, being president is about timing, too, and about where the country's moving to. I don't think that California is a success story anywhere in the country, even in California. It's not a success story.
But
so I don't think he has a platform to run on.
You think the pendulum can swing back? I agree with you. I think maybe, and I wouldn't call Spanberger necessarily that conservative or even Mikey Sherrill, but that's sort of like the new sort of the what moderate Democrats are holding up as the future. They're not holding up AOC and Bernie and.
But can they win without that part of the party? I mean, the Democratic Party is very
the geographic
split.
center seems to be over there, or far left, Don, which is why you look horrified. When I saw you on that other network, I was like, wow, I think I know that guy.
If the Democrats nationally put up a moderate candidate, do you lose the ability to get the turnout?
Well, ultimately, I think the Democrat candidate that's successful nationally is the mirror of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan got elected in 1980 by being moderate, by appealing to Democrats and independents as well as Republicans. And so the difference is that a Democrat like that has difficulty getting through the primary because of these coastal states like New York and California. But as things shift because of the great economic pain that these states are enduring and will continue to endure, and they will get worse, I think that there will be a growing number of Democrats that will look elsewhere. I think that where things are going right now, I think that I'd have to say that the Republicans have a much better chance of holding on the midterms for Congress than I thought before. But I think ultimately the key, as you said, Becky, is getting out of the primary. How does a moderate Democrat get out of the primary? I mean, I was asked to look at the race for governor of Florida, and I just looked at that race and said that the Democratic brand is so bad in Florida that it's essentially an unwinnable election. And that will mean that it'll be 32 straight years of Democratic rule in Florida, which was a swing state, and Obama won it twice.
Republican, yeah.
Yep. I was gonna ask you one other thing that now I'm having a senior moment, Don. All right, I'm not sure. Oh, Bill Maher. Someone said people are going to move out of New York, and people don't actually do that. When they say they're going to do it after an election, they don't actually do it. And the person arguing with him said, "Look what happened in California. There's been a mass exodus of people, wealthy people from California. You believe at this point that you will see an exodus of wealthy individuals from New York City at this point?"
Yeah, you're already seeing that, Joe. And by the way, think about it this way. 45,000 taxpayers pay nearly 50% of the income taxes in New York City. So it doesn't take much of a shift to change that. And it's already changed. That's why they're struggling with their budget right now. I think that, look, another 5,000 people who move out of New York, which is not a large number, and wealthy people are very mobile, that changes the economic conditions of New York significantly. And that's coming. It's already been coming, and it's going to accelerate now.